Welcome to Making Money Matter, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kerry Stevenson, and I'm your host today. And now for something completely different. I don't have a guest on today, but I have had a lot of people reaching out to me and saying things like, I don't know how to get started, or I think I keep making mistakes and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So I thought in this week's video, I would just talk about some common investing mistakes and some things that perhaps you're not really thinking about and wondering why you're not getting any further forward in your investing journey. And I think one of the first ones that I'd like to look at today is the fact that you never get started. Feel the fear and do it anyway is something that I often say to people, because most people like to feel comfortable, they like to feel safe. And in doing so, they actually never start to invest with their money. And what happens if you never invest? Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You are going backwards really quickly. Why? Because inflation is eating away at your capital. Inflation right now is making sure that your money is not going to go as far as it did next year, as far as it did this year. So the first thing I want you to do is start to get yourselves educated. But there are many mistakes that people make. And as I said just a moment ago, the first one is you don't even get started. Let me give you an example. If, for example, you got started today and you're quite young, a lot younger than me, because I don't have 50 years left on this planet, sadly, but true. The first thing I'll say to you is if you got started and said, you know what, I'm going to invest $100 a week. That's right, $100 a week for the next 50 years. Now that's $5,200 a year. And a lot of you will be out there go, yeah, I know I'm going to get some bad comments about this, but they go, I don't have $5,000 to spare. Well, why don't you just get rid of the Netflix, get rid of the Stand, get rid of all those streaming devices? Why don't you go out and look for a better deal on your mobile phone? Why don't you have one coffee a week instead of one every morning? There are ways that you can always find money that is what I call slipping through like water, slipping through your fingers like water. You don't even know where it's going. But if you had done that, if you had said, you know what, I listened to Kerry when I was 25 years old, I invested $100 a week for 50 years at an average return of 7%, which is not out of order. Sometimes people can smash it out of the park and get a lot more than that. But let's just take an average of 7% per annum. Then your return would be $1.2 million. So if you are starting at 25 and you're going to finish in 50 years, so that takes you to 75, it's a nice little nest egg. So my first advice to you guys is at least do something, get started, make your money work for you. The next thing I want to say is you need to be able to budget. Again, money going through your fingers like water. Find out what are you doing with money? Are you getting the best bang for your buck across all areas? Mobile phone, electricity, gas. If you're paying off a car, have you got the best finance arrangement? If you've got debt, have you renegotiated your debt with your bank? Are you paying your home loan down as fast as it possibly could instead of giving all the interest to the bank? And by the way, they load all the interest front end. And if you want to find out more, check out Graham Home from Infinity Group Australia, an absolute gun when it comes to paying down your home loan. If you haven't already, check out at least one of his Zoom calls. He gives so much great information about how you can pay less interest to the bank, more in your pocket, which means more for you to be able to invest. Don't try and time the market either, ladies and gentlemen, because you know what happens when you try and time the market. You always time it badly. It never gets you anywhere, because you keep going, oh, I think I'm just going to wait and time the market. Well, we're never going to actually time the market. But at the same time, a lot of people don't do their own due diligence. What they do is they go on social media and find out that the latest GameStop is the place to be. And if you haven't watched that movie, I think it's called Dumb Money. Go watch the movie Dumb Money. It was all about the GameStop fiasco and how some people did really well on paper. They didn't see the writing on the wall. They ended up not doing so well at the end of it. So do your own due diligence. Don't listen to social media, because those on social media, it's like, as Graham Home often says to me, it's like the barbecue mafia. If you start listening to them, you are never going to do anything, because they will always fill you with fear, and fear will always stop you from doing things. I also think that if you're starting to do things such as expecting too much, expecting too much or you don't have any goals, one of the first things that Graham, and I'll speak about in property investing as well, but one of the first things that Graham said to me when we started working together was, he said, "What are your goals?" And I knew exactly where I wanted to be. And I told him my money goal, my property goal, and my spiritual goals. We went through absolutely everything. I know exactly where I'm going, because if you don't know where you're going, if you don't have any goals, how the hell do you think you're going to get there? You won't get there because you don't know where you're going. So have some goals. The other thing that I often say to people all the time is diversification is your friend. I am known as that gold lady. I know I'm wearing a blue sparkly jacket today. That's because it just makes me feel happy. But if I was wearing my gold jacket, I would say to you, I am known as that gold lady. A lot of people know me as that gold lady. But whether I'm that gold lady or not, I would never tell you to sell your house and your children and go all in gold, or silver for that matter, even though I am the founder of the Australian Gold Conference, and I do think gold is money, everything else is credit. Diversification is your friend. Diversification means don't put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure that you have a diversified portfolio. Why? Because right now, we all know gold is a little bit unloved. No one's looking. So while no one's looking and no one's cooking, I'm buying. Why? Because I believe that gold will do what gold always does. But when others are not looking, that's when I like to look and to add to my portfolio. But it's diversification. So if the gold market gets on fire and the share market is going the other way, I have a diversification in my portfolio, which means it won't hurt as much as if I had 100% in gold or 100% in the share market. I also have property. And again, for those people out there that are looking at me and saying, well, I don't have funds. I don't have 2 cents to rub together. Go back to my earlier point where I said, I'm sure that you've got leaky buckets. I'm sure that you've got money that is going through like water, and you can find where you can save some money. And that's what I want you to put it into investing. Whether it's an ETF, although I'm not a great fan of ETFs, or it's one of the funds with low fees. Again, that comes back to doing your due diligence. The thing there is that you've got to get started, but don't focus on the short term. It's something I find a lot of people doing. They'll say to me, oh, but the gold price is going backwards. And I often say to people, yes, but if you look at gold over a period of 5, 10, 20 years, over the past, let's call it 1 year, I think gold is ahead of the Australian dollar by about 14%. That's not a bad return. I don't consider it a return. I consider it protecting my purchasing power. And there's different ways that you can purchase gold. I prefer either gold equities, but that's more risky, or physical gold bullion, which you can, you know what? You can have a lot of gold bullion and it's teeny tiny. No one would actually know that you had it. But I also don't recommend that you have your gold bullion sitting in your home unless you've got a very strong safe deposit, safety. What is it called? Safe box, safe thing. You know, a safe. Goodness me, that took a while to get out, didn't it? Anyway, finally, a couple more things. Don't pay too much in fees when you're looking at things. There's plenty of apps and opportunities out there where you don't have to pay high fees. Don't buy high and sell low. So when the market starts to get on fire and you see like Bitcoin back in the day when it went up to, I think it was 67,000 Australian dollars, everybody started buying Bitcoin. Then they got burnt. Then they sold Bitcoin. So they bought Bitcoin at 67, they sold it at 40, and then they lost half their money. But they were worried that Bitcoin was going to go to zero. So don't look short term, look at the longer term. It's much better to do that. And the other thing that I hear from people often is they're paying too much in taxes. Well, I'm going to finish with this. If you're paying a lot in taxes, and I'm not a great fan of high taxes, because in my opinion, we have too much government, too much overreach, too high taxes. But if you do happen to be paying tax, it means you're making money. So don't bemoan the fact that you're paying tax. It means that you potentially are making money. But I will also say this. We are overgoverned all around the world, and I think it's time that we had less government, lower taxes, more productivity. I hope this has helped you today in your investing journey. And we are going to come back in the coming weeks with ways to start investing in the resources sector or even the share market. And I'm going to take it commodity by commodity because commodities are different. Investing in gold is very different from investing in uranium, which is very different from rare earths or nickel or copper or anything else. So I'm going to bring the experts on for you, and we're going to have conversations about, say, it's the one-on-one on investing in different commodities, because I'm here to help you, and I'm here to help you grow, and I'm here to help you in your investing journey. So please click the like and hit the subscribe button. Share this with other people as I look to grow the Making Money Matter channel and give you all a lot of value as we go forward to your investing success. And as I say, let's keep going together. Send me an email if you like to info@goldevents.com.au. Tell me what you'd like to hear on the channel. Tell me what your challenges are. Tell me who you'd like to hear from. And I promise I'll do my best to help you. Thanks so much for listening. This is Kerry Stevenson, Making Money Matter, out.